When creating a new website, there are a couple things you need to do that you should do for every single website you create. The very first thing you need to do is create a root folder. Now, this can be anywhere. It can be on your desktop, your flash drive, a server, whatever it may be. Just remember that all of the stuff for your website needs to be inside of that root folder. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, and I'm going to give it the name of HTML-basics. And I usually put the word root in there just so that it's a good indicator that this is a website root folder. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And technically, you don't have to follow naming conventions for the root folder because you're going to put everything inside of the folder on the web server, but you won't put the actual top level folder on the web server, so it doesn't need to have the naming conventions. But I just do it just to get in that habit. Now, inside of that folder, I'm going to put all of my HTML files and any assets I use, such as images, documents, videos, whatever it may be. I don't know what I'm going to have in here yet, but what I'm sure of is that I'm going to have some assets. So I'm going to right click and choose new folder, and I'm going to name this assets. Again, no capitals, no spaces, and no special characters. Within that assets folder, I usually have two folders, one for images and another one for documents. Now, if I know for this particular website I'm going to have video or I'm going to have audio, I will create docket or folders for those. And if I have any other types of assets, I would create folders for those right now. And this doesn't mean that later on in your website you can't create those folders after the fact. I just want to set this up as well as I can before I even begin my first HTML page. So once that is created, then my root folder is ready to go. I'll go ahead and close this. Now, if you're using a basic editor such as Notepad or TextEdit or whatnot, then what you need to do is create a new HTML file and name it index.html. If you're using Dreamweaver, then before we can actually create that index.html, we need to first tell Dreamweaver where our root folder is. And the reason why is because it tries to keep the file paths organized for you, and it'll help when you try to save something, it'll automatically try to go to the root folder, which is what we want. So when you're in Dreamweaver, every time you create a new website, you must define that site first in Dreamweaver. So let's go ahead and close this basic HTML page, and we'll go to Site and choose New Site. I'm going to give this a name that's going to make it easier for me to understand. So this is called HTML Basics. And then it's going to ask you where's the root folder for this site. So I can click to browse for folder, and I can go to my desktop wherever your folder may be, and I will choose the HTML Basics root folder. And again, we can see that assets folder, but we just want to click on the top level root folder for right now and choose it. So now it knows that that's where it needs to go, or where it needs to save everything for your website. Now I could add server information here, but I don't have that, so we're just going to click Save. Now in my Files panel, you can see that I have my root folder at the very top level, and then I have the Assets folder inside of it, and inside of the Assets folder I have Documents and Images. So this is trying to show me all the files that are in the root folder of my site. This is where I can come and go to other sites that I've created in Dreamweaver so that I can easily switch between them. If, let's say, I'm updating everybody's site on the 1st of every month, then I can definitely do that here. So this is just an easy way to be able to get to all of your websites. And this is a feature that's available in Dreamweaver and some other paid for programs, but might not be available in the free ones such as TextEdit or Text Wrangler or Notepad++, etc. Now, notice that when I clicked on the HTML Basics folder, it brought up all those site setup options again. So that's a way that I can come later and add my server information. So I'll go ahead and cancel that. And now we're ready to go. We just need to add our index.html page. So in Dreamweaver, we're going to go to File, New, choose HTML, choose None for layout because we're going to work from scratch and code it from scratch. And then it's going to ask what kind of doc type we want to use. These XHTML and HTML 4.01, these are all older languages, so we're not going to work with those. We're going to work with the latest and greatest, which is HTML5. You only want to use these if you know your audience is going to be working with older technology. They're going to have older browsers, older computers. Then you might want to use an older language. But HTML5, even though it's newer, it's actually simpler, has a lot more features, and it's just easier to work with. So we're going to work with HTML5 and hit create. Now, if you are working again with a free editor such as TextEdit or Notepad++ or whatever it may be, you won't have all of this code. When you first start, you'll just have a blank page, and you'll need to type this code exactly as you see it here. And if you look at the basic structure tutorial video, it goes over exactly what we're seeing here and typing this all from scratch. So I highly recommend that you watch that. If you're in Dreamweaver though, you don't have to type all of it. It's already done for you, so that's a great thing. So we need to save this. So File, Save As, and we're going to save it as index.html because this is going to be our home page. Now, when I actually do a website, I start with design.html because I might want to build that as my template, and then from the template build my index.html. So usually I actually don't start with a home page. I start with a generic test page or design page or template page. So you can do that if you want to, but for right now, just to keep things simple, we're going to start with the home page. And I'm going to put it in the top level of my root folder, so it's going to be in this very top level. And I'm going to click Save, and I'm ready to go for my site.